a technician for Giving Up the Ghost,
please
email.
send a resume.
God,
please.
It doesn't pay.
No,
but we would adore
we'll give you.
Cheese
crack,
ghosty swag
of sorts, whatever. I'll paint you goddamn painting.
My God, we have been messing around with the sound. Somehow something got all monkeyed up.
Monkeyed is a good word.
Oh God,
that's a polite word.
Like, we're not even recording at full volume. I don't know what the hell.
No,
we're not. Know.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
I have to put my lips on the microphone.
I never had this cranked. Only when I did playback, when we were we'd record.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then I would crank this up during playback.
Well, something shit.
Oh my God.
That was my kneecap.
It's just a snap to the left. So we're not going to do anything funny like we normally do when we intro, just because we're fucking had it. We've been sitting here for
an hour at least,
swapping out laptops.
This looks like Medusa's head on the ground here. Like, holy shit, with cords.
Freaking insane. So I guess we're just going to jump into it. It's Saturday night, and it would be all right for podcasting.
Yeah, clink at least.
Clink, clink.
Clink.
Cheers to you, my
Whatever,
friend.
We got to sit around and drink anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Besides the stress.
And visit.
And my horny cat again.
Here I'm like, podcasting and making these shows. Like, it's my therapy, and I relax. We have a good... No, fuck that.
Yeah. This is pissing me off.
I am so pissed right now with all this freaking Steinberg controller. Steinberg.
Oh my God. You are 2-2.
Frustrating.
Bad. Yeah.
But again, this is Jas
and Sher.
Welcome to Giving Up the Ghost. Yay! Thanks for coming back. I should do the whistle. The whistle sound effects.
Wee-oo.
Do you need the cord here?
Oh, when I have to read eventually at some point.
Okay.
One of the 80 electrical cords that are splayed out around us here.
Like it looks like we're bringing something to life, like Frankenstein. Yeah. All we're missing is just, plug into somebody.
Yep.
We're going to be doing a few episodes tonight. We're recording.
Hopefully we're going to do 5.
That was the thought. 5. Good luck with that.
Yeah, I know. We can make 5 really short. Right?
Short. Where was my... I'm looking for my sound effects here. Here we go. Welcome to Giving Up the Ghost!
Yay! Woo! Woo! Woo!
There we go. Yeah, we've got... We use Audacity because it's free.
And it has the audacity not to fucking work right now.
So we don't know if the issue is in the app or if it's in the Steinberg, which is the thing that I bought for, I guess you would say.
The microphone-y thingies.
Yeah, that plugs everything in and gives us the stabilization so it's not so staticky.
We're unstable tonight.
So unstable. So frustrating. So anyway, but we want to do a few episodes tonight. Next episode we're going to do an interview with our friend Tom from BC.
Tom from BC!
Yay, Tommy! Yay! Next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a few things we just want to... Today we're introducing a listing contest, meaning that we're going to advertise it on Instagram, Facebook, where are we? Twitter.
Are we Twittering still?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, frick.
We're on Reddit now.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to contact us. Tickety-talk. I love TikTok. If you haven't seen our videos lately, I did a couple yesterday. They're kind of cool.
Yeah, I think they were pretty good.
I like them.
Yeah, I like them.
Saying all that, we have a new contest. We have a sponsor. Sponsor to the show is Poco Beads.
Can you imagine?
Poco Beads. And
excellent.
I had them all queued up, and then I had to look for tech information. Sorry, Poco. Poco or Paco? Stacey will correct me. I like Paco.
Did you?
I do.
Paco likes taco.
They are your number one place to shop for beads in Winnipeg, and also you can shop online. Cindy is the proprietor. They are located at 495 D as in Donald Madison Street in St. James. All your bead supplies for all your crafting. Cindy is a wonderful woman. We've met her before, and she does classes on how to do all these brilliant creations. So please check them out. www.inspired.com.
And she's on Facebook and Twitter and the Gram.
Yeah, and they're sponsoring our show. We're going to be doing a giveaway for the next 4 episodes. A beautiful little ghosty.
It's a beautiful little ghosty.
Necklace. He's so cute.
He's adorable.
Yeah, a shout out to Stacy. Thanks for coming up with the idea and coming aboard. And again, you can access them on the internet and order online if you can't make it out during these trying times.
Yeah.
Totally get that.
Excellent.
And tell them Jas and Sher sent ya.
Yeah.
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 And I say and a lot. And so. I'm constantly editing myself. So, well. Not professional broadcaster.
Oh, well.
No.
We're not.
But for this week.
That's what makes us charming.
I know. We're just adorable.
Yep.
Fucking adorable. Okay, so with this contest for Paco, we would ask that we're going to give you a code word. And this code word for this episode is Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. Oh, shit. Done it 3 times. But you only need to enter it once.
Yeah.
If you can kindly email us at
Givinguptheghostpodcast@gmail.com.
And also you can message us on
Facebook.
Instagram, Twitter, whatever's easiest.
Yeah.
Just say contest number 1 Beetlejuice, and we'll have the picture up of this beautiful ghosty necklace.
Excellent.
And we'll be doing this for the next few episodes. So this is a podcast exclusive contest. So we're not going to be giving you the code word.
No Facebook. I'm sorry.
You go and play by our rules now, son.
You listen.
Anyway, this week's episode.
Tunnels.
We're finally getting to our tunnels episode. Some episodes take a lot longer to research than others.
Shit, yeah, because you can't find anything.
But then when you do, it's like endless amounts of information. Then you go down a rabbit hole tunnel, no pun intended.
Yeah, and you find some other shit.
And then you find some other stuff.
And I know, yeah.
So technically, how I look at it, the tunnels episode is actually interconnected also with the jail episode, Haunted Manitoba Jails that we have coming up. So there's a lot of intertwined crossovers and little people.
Oh yeah, I know. Because we have people that have issues with
little people.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is the whole city is, majority of the older part of the city is all connected by the heating ducts, which is possibly how the little people are getting into houses. Not saying that that's happening to you.
No, but you
however, right? It's an easy access.
Did you see some of those pictures of those doors that are all bricked
up?
I
did.
They're pretty, yeah,
very sketch.
I would totally be into looking at those things.
I know for sure. And and we're gonna, on a future show, we're gonna have a guest, nice lady, Aboriginal lady in First Nations that actually has seen little people.
Yeah.
So she hasn't interacted with them.
No.
And she's agreed to be on the show, so we're setting that up.
That's pretty cool. I'm really stoked about that. Because was it her sister that messaged?
Oh, it was her cousin.
Oh, it was her
that
cousin.
I work with. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because she said she didn't really talk about it. Lots of people don't know about it, right?
Well, no, and to get it's a big. It is a big thing in the Aboriginal culture.
Yeah.
Totally. Like you yourself, like Sher, if you haven't listened to any of our previous episodes, Sher grew up for the first, 4 or 5 years?
5 years, yeah.
Yeah.
And I learned about it from there. And
that's right.
I've never heard it ever since then, right?
And it's a big piece of the cultural history. And I think it's a shame that a lot of this stuff disappears after a while. And that's why we're here. We want to make sure a lot of the Winnipeg, Manitoba history, all this is preserved somehow, because you hear about it one time and then it's gone.
Right.
So now whether or not we have sources to back up, okay, we get that. But that goes for a lot of these books and stuff that you read that have a lot of these stories. A lot of them, they talk to so-and-so. Well, okay, great.
Well, we can talk to so-and-so
We can talk to so-and-so.
Yeah.
Bring it.
Right.
We're nice people.
And I mean, shit, we're not just fabricating it when we're talking to someone about it. Like,
and I mean, and when we're talking about these things, we're talking about these things that we've heard since we were kids. And and then they disappear. So when we have Angela on our show to talk about the little people, we want to get a better perspective from her culture.
Oh, absolutely.
Another thing I had posted a couple weeks ago was little people of Iceland, how they do those little houses.
I love those.
Yeah, I love that.
So cool.
I totally believe that.
It's awesome.
It's big.
I can't believe that they're all over the country. I have to Google them. I know.
They're
cool.
everywhere.
They are everywhere.
In Iceland, primarily, they build these little houses for the little people, the little fairy.
Yeah, to live, to stay warm.
Yeah, and they give them
survive.
They give them offerings of food, and it's a big thing. And because with Manitoba, we have a huge Icelandic
Gimli.
Gimli.
Oh yeah,
for sure. And apparently, there was a children's book that was written in the 80s based on the little people of Gimli.
Oh, cool.
And I think they're called Hudasik or Husadik.
I don't know.
Somebody had messaged me about that too. So we're going to tie all that in. So
that's see, cool.
all our episodes are kind of all interconnected. The haunted jails, the tunnels. Everything.
Yeah.
So a lot of these we'll be doing in a few parts. But tonight we're primarily going to come talk about the tunnel information that we've discovered.
Which is really hard to freaking discover, to be honest.
And when you do, you literally fall down a rabbit hole.
Yep, orally.
And we also have reached out to a few other people. Now that we're on Reddit, apparently there's a few other people that know people that have extensive knowledge of tunnels. So we'll come back and hopefully be able to...
Worker bees.
Worker bees.
Worker bees that are down there.
I know a guy.
Who knows a guy that knows a guy who is a son
Did I tell you how I also came across a story about the tunnels in St. Boniface that have to tie in potentially with Al Capone?
I know, Al Capone connection.
See, Al Capone...
we both have the connection with the Al Capone and the country thing.
Right, and this is something me and Sherry were talking about that we wanted to discuss further.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get my documentation here. So maybe I'll just start with the tunnels. So if you're from Winnipeg or know somebody from Winnipeg or been to Winnipeg, we have a lot of listeners.
Been to damn Winnipeg.
Get your ass down here, and you can stay in Sherry's pod cave.
Yeah, you can stay
which is where we're recording from. But one thing that we're known for in Winnipeg is something called Winnipeg Square. And Winnipeg Square was constructed underground underneath Portage-Main, the windiest part of North America, they say. And sorry, I disappeared there. So Portage-Main is like connects all the main banks downtown, shops. It's a huge thing. There's like the Scotiabank concourse that's connected. So of all things that are connected downtown with it connects Portage-Main pedestrian loop, the Trizac complex, which is the shops in Winnipeg Square. I had worked there once when I was a kid.
Yeah. It's a weird place down there.
It is weird. Yeah. Kind of claustrophobic.
They still have it there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. 360 Main Street, which is the Commodity Exchange Tower you can access, Scotiabank Building, the Royal Bank Building, 201 Portage, which was formerly CanWest, and now it's the TD Center, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
TDS Law, TD Canada Trust. There's also the Concourse Sports and Ergonomic Physiotherapy, the Lombard Place, Richardson Building, CIBC, Fairmount, Winnipeg Hotel, Lombard Concourse, 161 Portage Avenue, the Historic Grain Exchange Building, Historic Bank of Montreal Building, and the MTS Tower, which was formerly the Bank of Montreal. So
the big Bank of Montreal there on the corner?
Yeah. So all these are interconnected through
That's all down Main Street, basically.
All down Main Street, yeah. But I mean, those are some of the tunnels we know about. Like, that's the main thing. But a lot of times back in the day, there were other tunnels that were constructed throughout downtown and even in the suburbs just to connect buildings to buildings because I don't know if you guys know anything about Winnipeg. Yeah. You freeze your ass off.
Pretty damn cold, yeah.
Freaking cold. So I can see not the secrecy or the mysteriousness of why they built tunnels back in the day to it's like, ooh, but
no.
I think it's more practical.
It was, yeah. It was a necessity, yeah, I know. Yeah,
totally. So again, we've got our subterranean tunnels that serve the purpose that we use every day now. But aside from those tunnels, there is actually conversation about some of the tunnels in the Exchange District as well that was said to use for booze runs.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Al Capone.
No. Hello, come on down.
That's right. So that had to do more so back in the day. I think it was in the 1920s, Prohibition.
Yeah.
It affected mostly the states, but it was big here too. Every province had a different...
We just sold to the states.
I know. You know what? They were allowed to make it here for medicinal purposes.
Oh, well, hey. Everything had, like, cannabis way back when in the 20s anyway, too.
So, and
Coke?
Cocaine?
Yeah. Oh, I know.
It fixed your ailments.
What ailments you ever had.
Yeah. So, in saying that, like, I think part 2 will leave about the Prohibition and all that part.
But all these downtown things, it was like it was a necessity of heat, right? I mean, everything was like steam generated. Yeah. They dug shit around everywhere for practical purposes, but along in doing that, left us a little extra. Hey, whatever. You can't just dig a hole and not have access to those piping systems down there, right?
So a lot of these steam systems that we have right now, well, I shouldn't say right now, they're not used right now, but like what Sherry's saying, like, so we're talking about there's walkway tunnels, but there's also smaller tunnels exclusively for the steam. We had made a comment on the Facebook page there a couple weeks ago saying, oh, this is coming up, and then some guy goes, oh, okay, and no offense to that guy, I can't remember his name. He says, okay, well, there were no tunnels, they were just all for steam. Well, yes, steam plus physically walking.
Oh yeah,
for accessing.
You have to access that shit. Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say,
and they're big doors that were in those. There wasn't like a little hole.
Because keeping in mind, like steam tunnels, like they would need access at certain points for people to get in to fix things.
Yeah, they had to be.
It wasn't just all like 1-inch diameter holes. It was
like doors.
Yeah, trap doors and shit.
Doors.
We're talking James Bond shit there.
I know, which is awesome though. It's really cool, and I've seen some of those
for sure.
Those boarded up places, and they're excellent.
Yeah,
I would like to go in.
I would like to tour, but yeah. So we'll do this in two parts. So primarily, we're going to talk about the haunted tunnels today.
Haunted ones,
not the prohibition tunnels.
No,
but
which are probably one and the same though, because I'm sure there's a few guys that got whacked.
One
off
and the
down
same.
There. Yeah.
I mean, I had heard for years. One time I'd gone on a ghost tour and it was so cool. And this wasn't Kristen's from Square Pigs. It was something called Ghost to Ghost. And I've talked about it before.
Yeah,
it was more like a history. Like,
right.
Shit, we love the history and the hauntings. Like, it goes hand in hand. And you can't deny that.
No.
So this guy took us on a tour. And we were at the CN rail station, which is Union Station back in the day. And it was known, and they are still there. Now, whether they're exactly in use, it's hard to say. But there was a tunnel that would go right from the CN station, the Union Station, right to the Fort Garry Hotel, because it was for the baggage, right? They didn't want the baggage to get all wet,
right.
Or
snowy.
Lottie frickin' da, So everything was underground, and then took it to the hotel for the hoity-toity, teetotaling fancy people. And as well, the fancy people, they went under. They're not going to go walk up, forget it, minus 40. So there is tunnels from there to there. And during this ghost tour, this gentleman had told us, now there is actually a Forks connection. And here's another connection to another episode that we are going to cover later on. See, I've talked to one or two people that will come and interview with us. Because the Forks is very haunted as well.
Oh, I can imagine. It's
so haunted.
So old there.
And so is the...
And never mind that part of it. We're talking about the indigenous part of it, too.
That's right.
Because they dug up piles of stuff there. There's so much shit.
Don't touch shit that don't belong to you.
I know. It's too busy there with stuff.
Exactly. Too much energy going on there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But also the what is that? The museum there?
Yeah.
Human rights?
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it, but the whatever.
No, that's what they dug up a whole bunch of
But the
shit
human rights apparently is really haunted too. I've heard some stories. So we'll have some stories about that.
Oh, okay, cool.
But what I've heard primarily, getting back to the tunnels, now there were tunnels, for what purpose? I'm not 100% sure. And it could have been maybe like for the cargo, because like the Johnson terminal and the Forks was actually like, it was storage, right? Like it was mostly for merchandise,
and they had the tracks right there too, right? So
it was like a way to ship things in and out, plus being on the river, probably floated it up the river, you know, on barges and stuff. So it was just basically a big warehouse facility. So I think a lot of the stuff, when it came off the rail cars, they probably used these tunnels to bring it over to the Forks.
Okay. Most likely, and if it was something that they were secretly transporting, you never know, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, here's the dark side to all that. So the tunnel that was connected is obviously blocked off. It's gone, right?
Yeah.
So how it's told, or how I had heard it, with these tunnels being blocked off, they still have to patrol underneath there, like with the basements and stuff. They still have to patrol at the Union Station, as well as the Forks at night. So you got security guards making their rounds, and doing their shit, and batting their canes or their whatever, their flashlights,
their
batons, their canes. That's a pretty sad ass security guard. Anyway, what are we at time here? Oh shit! With the tunnels, with the connection between the Union Station, a lot of times in recent years, like I'm talking the last 10, 20 years, they do their rounds and stuff. They hear kids giggling in the middle of the night in these tunnels that are blocked off. They hear kids laughing, playing, and running around. The reason for that was because back in the day when you had Spanish flu, here we are, pandemic.
Yay.
A lot of people, immigrants that came in on the trains, they perished during that traveling. And when they arrived, they
were dead when they got
there. They were
there.
dead. So there was a portion in the basement of the Union Station that was actually set up as a makeshift morgue.
Oh my God.
And we all know from the Spanish flu who died.
Killed fucking
kids.
Thousands and thousands of people.
But mostly kids, right? They didn't survive. So
yeah.
a lot of these people would arrive and they'd have to, put their children or their loved ones in this morgue to be ID'd and tagged and whatever. So it is pretty haunted in that passageway.
Where did they put them all? No, really. Just thinking about it.
This is what I'm saying. They had to make with a cargo, right?
Well, I know, but if they came on a boat, say they traveled from wherever, Saskatchewan, let's just say, for example, whatever.
Yeah. But they had
where the hell did they put them after that?
Well, exactly. And it's not like they could radio ahead or anything.
No. I know.
Yeah. And then somebody on Reddit, when I posed the question about the tunnels, the haunted tunnels, somebody said that's where they detailed people. So I think when they mean detailed them, they would have to come in for immigration, and then they would have to
do the whole thing.
Check them out, and then they would use that portion in the basement to keep the bodies, I guess.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's horrific.
Well, a la the Park Theater, remember?
Yeah. You never know.
You guys don't believe this shit happened, and this shit happened, and it's not documented, but it's told from hand to hand.
Freaking out about it now, but I mean, hey, shit like that
you had to do what you had to do back then.
Exactly.
So that's some of the tunnels that are haunted that are not in use, obviously, but blocked off, but just the same, creepy as shit, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
And then also another tunnel apparently also went to the Manitoba Club, which is the gentleman's club, that nice dignified building.
The beautiful building, yeah.
So dignified. And only up until about 10, 20 years ago, they would allow women in there. It was a gentleman's club.
I do.
You know, like, what's that movie? What's that movie with Eddie Murphy and the ghost guy there? You know, Trading Places, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And then it's like where he comes in and that Randall and whatever sitting in those big stuffy chairs with their cigars. And, you know, no women allowed, God forbid. But they would allow for hookers, apparently. Now, that's hearsay. Can't substantiate it, but do you doubt that, right?
I don't doubt that at all. I mean, really.
No.
I mean, come on.
What they say, though, too, because of
that... The world is different now.
It's a different time, different place. Yeah.
Now
there's Tinder. And when... Not that I know about Tinder. I'm just saying. Swipe.
Yeah.
But like with regards to the tunnel that goes to the Fort Garry Hotel, I'm not sure if it was, I would think it would be the same tunnel that led to the Gentleman's Club. And they say at night, apparently, you can faintly hear the screams of a murdered woman at the night. So because there was hookers and prostitutes that were brought there. Yeah. I heard of one that was killed on the premises, like her neck was broken, right, from somebody in the club. Right. And they quietly had taken her body out. Yeah, out the back door. So apparently she still haunts the Gentleman's Club there. Would. Oh, fuck yeah. Don't do that shit.
Yeah.
But apparently, I guess there were other ladies of the night that were taken in the tunnels there. Apparently, it was even such a big thing. There was even like a barbershop in the tunnel from the CN station to
Who knows?
That kind of stuff.
If there are booze running in there, they could have whatever the goddamn well wanted to anywhere.
Exactly.
I have shit about a freaking bomb shelter apparently that's under there. Believe it or not.
I wouldn't doubt that.
It says when I was in the Army, we saw blueprints for a bomb shelter from the Cold War days underneath Legislative Park. Apparently, the old bathrooms at the park were supposed to be an entrance. As far as I know, the only way in now is in the basement of the Ledge building.
Right.
So, I mean, who knows, right?
Oh, and another thing those tunnels were used for from the Union Station to the Fort Garry Hotel was like for like linen and stuff, right? You know, for the nicer trains and transporting, you know, things to be cleaned up, and then passengers. Oh yeah, so they say that apparently in the tunnel at that time there was a restaurant, a barbershop, and a tailor shop in the tunnel. And that's just a rumor, but it would be kind of nice to see if, you know, that kind of stuff can be confirmed.
I would like to know, why don't they have them open? Like, really? Like, honestly, why don't they? Because, I mean, look, there's catacombs underneath of frickin', where is it, Italy or whatever? They got catacombs and shit they take tours of. Drumheller has mines they take tours of. Yeah. Why don't we do that?
No, exactly.
I mean, friggin' be income from the city. They wouldn't have to charge us for parking down there. For, like,
until the ghost kills you.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Oh, shit happens, right? And then another tunnel was the one that there's tunnels that go from the Legislative Building, right? It goes to the Law Courts. It goes to Woodworth Building. It goes to Vaughan Street Jail, the power plant. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And I think it also even went to the Archives Building, which was previously the auditorium.
Yeah, and they had the saddlery. Wherever that was, I don't know, as relation to Amy Street.
That's on Main Street.
Yeah, and it was there too.
And then
all down Waterfront Drive.
Right.
Right.
And then that also went from the, believe it or not, you know that beautiful nice cube you have in Market Square, right? Or is it called Market Square? That big cube where they perform and stuff.
Yeah.
That used to be the gallows for the first jail. They used to hang people.
Yeah. Okay. I know.
Yay! See, so here's our jail. Here's our jail connection. So, like with the jails, they had underground tunnels for whatever reason that went from the Civic Center,
Yeah.
which is the old, now it's been bulldozed this week, I think, right?
Is it this week?
Public safety building.
Is it? Did they bulldoze?
They did, yeah.
I was in that building.
Okay, sure. So was
in
I.
In the basement.
I had my handprints taken.
I just had a chat with somebody.
Oh, no, but my prints was for a job.
Mine was
legit.
because someone stole the vehicle, my boyfriend's vehicle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and we went on we did the little whole fucking chase him down Main Street.
Did you?
Yeah, we really did.
Did you get him?
No, because the cops stopped us.
Oh, oops.
We were chasing a stolen vehicle in my dad's car. And the cops pulled us over. I'm like,
oh my God.
It's a stolen vehicle. And then they crashed it on Selkirk Avenue.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Selkirk. There you go.
Crazy.
No offense, Selkirk.
No.
Going back to the legislature, though, apparently those tunnels were built because after the violent strike of 1919, I guess the politicians were a little concerned, right?
About the
mobs and shit, right? So that's why all the tunnels lead there. But I mean, right now, it doesn't really have much use. But like Vaughan Street, if it's going to the Vaughan Street jail, can you imagine how that bad energy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, totally.
And they weren't going to be marching like people around outside anywhere near there.
Well, no, because I guess for that point too, if you've got politicians, crooks. No, I'm just kidding. No, if you got them being mobbed, like who's to say if you don't got some degenerate to society that did some really shitty things, and you got the family that want revenge, right?
No, they wouldn't.
They wouldn't put them outside. They'd bring them underground.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
Yeah.
No.
And
creepy.
What else do I got? So the rotunda at the Union Station is very haunted. At the this doesn't have to do with the tunnel, but I guess I don't have a lot of information on the Union Station. I've heard that it's quite haunted, but I have one story here where I guess there was a woman who worked in the administrative offices, and she's the one that they say that she had died, but that before she died, I guess she was seen walking by or just looking off the rotunda. So there's doors that open and close, and so I don't know if they're saying that she died. Oh, she died before the administrative offices were there.
Oh, okay.
So it was just the CN station.
Right.
And they say she's still there, and she's the one that opens and closes the doors on their own. And then, too, they also say that, with all the soldiers they'd seen soldiers marching through at night.
Yeah.
And also a hobo carrying a lantern is sometimes seen walking along the tracks behind the Union CN station.
Just one? Just one? I'm surprised it was just... I mean, lots of people have died on the tracks, you know what I mean?
Yeah. One guy on Reddit, when I said, I've heard about hauntings, can anybody, anything else? And he goes, I went under there one time and I saw hobos having sex. And I said, that's some scary shit right there. I said, you need some therapy after that one. And I don't know, I made some smart ass comment. He says, I like your comment. I'm going to start listening to you. And bravo on you, sir.
Woohoo!
Belt yourself in, sucker. It's going to be a rough ride. Also,
I was like in one of those things. This is where it was. I was at that Urban Explorer page. It says there's tunnels in the Exchange, a bunch of them. They have to do with the old steam pipes and booze running. The saddlery business has an entrance in its basement floor that has been boarded up for at least 60 years.
Yeah.
You would not know it was there unless you were looking for it. As for the jail cells, they're still there. Just got to go into the basement of the building between Crocus and Union Tower.
Oh, I'd love that.
The rail station tunnel runs to the ledge, I believe, and is still used for MTS for data and phone lines.
Right. So what I heard about that last year, too, as well, that somebody asked somebody in the know, and this was on a Facebook posting. I think it was like, whatever. I can't remember which group it was. And then he said that he had worked for MTS back in the 90s, and he said MTS bought about 80%, 80 to 85% of all the underground tunnels, supposedly, so they could run their infrastructure, their cable, and then they backfilled the tunnels when they were done with it. I wonder about that, because when they need access, they'd need access at some point to upgrade. They're digging up all our fucking yards right now in the city. My yard I saw your flag. You're gonna dig you up now too.
Assholes.
I know. So I mean, they don't dig it up and forget about it and bury it. No, they need to come back.
Not downtown. There's no goddamn way they're going to be digging shit up down there.
So what we're trying to tell you people is we're essentially living underneath a fucking sophisticated ant village, an ant. What do they call that?
Ant colony.
We're an ant colony down the I'd be scared to build any more shit downtown. There's so many tunnels under there. Oh, you would think the whole thing would collapse.
Seriously, and actually,
you know what? Flood. What about flood? We're right by the river.
For sure. And there was some person that said that never mind the one layer. He goes, I swear to God, he goes, it's 3 stories underground there.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he said it's not just one. He goes, I know it's got to be 3 stories underground. Yeah. Maybe not the whole thing. Maybe in some areas. But I'm like, this was just from that freaking blog page that I found. Like, that was pretty cool. These guys do, like, criminal activities and break into places and go exploring. But, you know.
What about when I told you I'd gone on that other ghost tour? Again, not Kristen's, but the other ghost to ghost guy. And they talked about the medium that went in there. And apparently the Marlborough has a secret double basement.
It could very well be. Like I said, that guy said he's sure it's 3.
I'm sure that's all connected. Because that's really close to all the other older hotels there in the Exchange District, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Another one that I've got here, it said that apparently back in the day, much of Portage Avenue, among other things, there was a large horse stable that used to be in the back, like when they used to do the horse-drawn delivery wagons, right? Yeah. So there is a large horse stable that's underneath along Portage Avenue. Somewhere.
That's creepy.
I'm just trying to
I don't know why. That's just kind of creepy. Put the horses in the basement, dear. Like, I don't know.
So, but that was one time. I mean,
it's like a delivery place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was underground.
Yeah.
And all along Portage Avenue, probably like from Portage to Maine and
that's
stuff
creepy.
like that. Yeah. And then allegedly, again, going back to that as well, you know, with the assumption that there was prostitutes and stuff that were brought from the club underground as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not talking the Gentleman's Club. I'm talking about the other...
All the other clubs, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, if Al Capone is... They say he was. There's booze running happening.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they say.
Well, I think we're going to pause that here for now. So that gets us halfway through our tunnels. So the hauntings and the history.
Hauntings and history. Wish we could find way more history. We found a couple of those Free Press articles.
Yeah.
But, I mean, did they actually really spew any guts out about it? Or, I mean, like...
Some of it did.
Yeah,
Mostly about the steam. Mostly about the steam
plant, though. Yeah,
so,
I know.
So this is part 1 of our tunnel, our haunted tunnels in Winnipeg. And next round, we're going to talk about prohibition and steam tunnels. So not as much about the hauntings, but, you know, there is a tie there. So,
Maybe Al Capone is under Winnipeg.
That's where all his money is, I betcha.
God damn it.
I read a thread and all this shit, this rabbit hole, that apparently he begatted a son here named Tony or something. And the guy goes by Tony Capone. Like they gave him
Capone
or something. Yeah, it's just like shit. That was pretty brave of somebody to put that on a blog because I'd sue his ass off.
Yeah, I know.
Don't make no assumptions. I just wanted, before we exit this, holy shit, again, the time, man. The time. I don't know. What time is it?
I have no clue.
What is it? Oh, yeah. Well, we'll get a few episodes done. I just wanted to do a shout out quickly, too. Since the last shout out. Scream out! Do a scream. Do a scream! Get your cat down here. She'll screech.
I locked her upstairs.
Oh, okay.
Horny bitch.
Just since the last time we recorded, with about 4 weeks ago here, a shout out to the Winnipeg Magazine. If you are. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Yay!
Shout out to the guys over there.
Online goodness.
We have our episodes downloaded to the Winnipeg Magazine every week on their website. If you want to check out some of our episodes, if you haven't already,
there you go.
Do
it's
it.
Right
That's
there.
where
and
you go.
Theirs. They got their goodies out there too.
Thank you for embracing our craziness and
not kicking
pulling us into your
far.
bosom and hugging the shit out of us. We appreciate that. Another shout out to the Brandon Museum.
Yay!
They listen and follow us.
Excellent.
They reached out and they said, anytime you want information on anything, you just let us know. Well, God bless you.
That's good, because they have a lot of people telling a lot of stories in Brandon.
We need more reputable people.
It's a museum, damn it. No,
just kidding. Because we know nothing about everything and everything about nothing.
That's right.
Exactly. Haven't said that for a while. I was thinking,
I know.
I'm laying in bed the other night. I'm like,
what did we say before?
We haven't said that shit for a while. But that's true in that case. You know, like,
totally.
We want to find this stuff out. And, you know, like, if people are willing to help us, great.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And I got a boo. We did the scream out and the boo.
We got a boo.
Me and Sherry, we talk a lot between ourselves about life and the podcast and shit. Ideas. So I'm a bit of an asshole sometimes.
No.
We don't get as many emails as I think we should. Because somebody else has an email very similar to us.
Boo upon them.
So I'm just like the sweetest pie nice. I'm like, hey, this is who we are. This is what we do. By chance, have you ever gotten the odd email for us? I don't know exactly what they do. I think it's a band, actually.
Seriously?
Yeah. And then, But the guy's name, it doesn't come up with a name. It comes up with his first initial and his last name when you responded back, right? And then all I got was a no. Well, if that's not incriminating, I don't know what fucking incriminating
he'd be
is.
like, no, I don't know what you're talking about.
You know, if it'd be like, oh, no, we haven't gotten your email. Sorry to hear that. Okay, have a great day. No, none of that shit. It was just no. Yeah.
Nice.
So, screw you and the ghost you rode into town on.
Asshole.
So, make sure that when you email us, it's
Givinguptheghostpodcast at gmail.com.
Thank you very much. And on that note as well, we may, for these promotions we have for Poco beads, but I love their beads. Anyway, so in saying that, just for we're anything in the future, we're thinking about just getting a different email address.
Or Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, just message us.
Facebook Messenger.
And remember, this week's code is Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. Oops.
So, okay, so we're going to cash it out at this point.
Ching.
And thank you for listening and getting hold of us, blah, blah, blah. And remember to live every day like it is your last.
But never give up the ghost. Never give up the ghost.
Bye. Click.